Football is back. NFL football starts this Thursday, and we on Turf and Touchdowns are looking at the first game of the season. The Baltimore Ravens taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Myself, Luke Elder, alongside Tom Collins. It's just a good day. It's just a good day, okay? We've got our draft tonight. We leave it as late as we possibly can. That's tonight, Tom. We've got football starting tomorrow. If that's not enough, we don't have to wait till Sunday. We've got Friday where we get to look towards the Packers and the Eagles playing in Mexico, and then we get Scott Hansen to look forward to. So it's just a really good time to be alive.
What a week. This is going to be a fantastic week if you're an NFL fan. As you say, plenty of action in terms of football on the field with the game on Thursday, Friday night, and loads on Sunday and Monday night as well. So we've got basically 4 whole days of NFL action and college football on the Saturday as well, if you like that too. So it's back to back to back to back to back. And the draft, I'm very nervous, I have to admit. This is a paid league. I know plenty of people don't like doing that, but we put money behind our fantasy selections. And last year I stunk. So I need to be a lot better this week.
It's a paid league, but we also care as well. You want, it's the league, it's a 14-team league, but everyone's good at fantasy football and everyone cares. So if you win that, you're doing okay. But we'll get into the main things. This is the Turf and Touchdowns podcast. If you are just finding us for the first time, a very warm welcome. Please go and subscribe to us. At this moment in time, we're 1 subscriber away from 100. So if you're subscriber number 100, then thanks. You don't get any special price, but it'll be good. It'll be good. We also do horse racing on the side. We have got a horse racing podcast that is live literally right now, but we're focusing on the Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs, game 1 of the NFL season. Moneyline prices about 5-4 Baltimore at the moment. Kansas City Chiefs are 4-6. The spread has the Chiefs as a 3-point favourites. Even money -3, +3 for Baltimore at 5-6. In that market, Tom, no real shocks in regards to that. The Chiefs were always going to be favourite. Baltimore, they're a very good team, but they weren't going to be favourites on the road against the defending Super Bowl champions.
No, exactly that. Chiefs coming off the back of another winning Super Bowl. They've been dominant over the last 5 or 6 years, to be honest. Yeah, they haven't won every single year, but that's physically impossible. They've won the majority, and therefore they have to be favourites going in. Patrick Mahomes at home. I mean, when are they ever not going to be favourites? So I think the actual line of 3 points is very fair. Should be a great way to kick off proceedings. Obviously, 2 of the best teams in the NFL. Look, I think Kansas may win. They may not. I don't want to bet them at moneyline, relatively short odds on. I'm more interested in the Baltimore Ravens on the spread, just because I think this is going to be a super tight game. Firstly, it's the first game of the season. We don't really know how well these offenses are going to flow. We don't know if the defenses are going to be fully tuned up and ready to adopt the coordinator's tactics and aggression. So I think we're going to have a 3-point game here. And yes, the line is at 3 points, which is very, very frustrating. But you can go into the additional point spread market, which allows you to just pick and choose what line you want. And I think Baltimore Ravens plus 3.5, which is currently around 8-11, is probably the best bet there. Look, they're going to want to avenge their playoff defeat from last year against the Chiefs. They lost 17-10. They were at home. They turned the ball over 3 times. The Chiefs had a clean game and they beat them by a touchdown. I think the Ravens are going to be annoyed about that still, and they're going to want to at least make this a lot closer. So I'll take the Ravens plus 3.5.
Mate, I'm so excited. Like, I understand we're being professional right now, but like just talking about this, I'm so excited for the season to start.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? We've been waiting a long time. As we said in the podcast last week, it feels like the off season is just way too long. But the benefit of that is once we get the season back, you get all those excitement and nerves back.
Me and Tom were working for Sky Sports Racing the other night, and we had a college football game on. Was it the Miami-Florida game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And it was just nice. It was just really nice to have something on to watch. Obviously, we were doing our jobs and we were filling that obligation, but it was just good having football. Let's move into the bets, because that's what we're going to be doing here on the Turf and Touchdowns podcast. We have also got a podcast as well running through all our best Sunday slate bets, but Ravens, Chiefs, you've already mentioned one of yours with the Ravens on the spread. I'll go with 2 of mine, because 2 of mine are linked. I think Isaiah Pacheco is going to start off this season very, very strongly. I'm going to go Pacheco anytime touchdown is 11-10, and Pacheco over rushing yards over 61.5. Now, the Ravens defense is known for being just ridiculously strong. they did allow the 7th most yards per carry last season on the ground. They were very, very tough to beat through the air, and they were tough to beat full stop. But keep in mind, Mike McDonald's gone, defensive coordinator from last year. He's gone and joined the Seattle Seahawks. He's now head coach there. It'll be interesting to see how this defense does turn things around. I don't think they're going to become a bad defense whatsoever, but things change, and we'll see, regards to Kansas, how they're going to try and beat them. Kansas also, I'm interested to see how they go throughout the air. Rashee Rice, obviously, he's escaped a punishment for the moment, regards to his off-field indiscretions. Xavier Worthy's a rookie. We don't know how much Travis Kelce's going to be used for the first game of the season. I think this is an Isaiah Pacheco game. Baltimore, on the ground, allowed over 100 yards per game as well last year. They were a team that you could run on. If you were going to try and beat them, that was the way. However, they were generally ahead of you, Tom, so rushing wasn't always an option for plenty of teams, but I think this is an Isaiah Pacheco game.
Yeah, well, I love Isaiah Pacheco. I'm probably number one in his fan club that's not a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So, look, I'm not against that by any means. And I do think he's going to get a heavy workload for Pacheco standards in this game, just purely because, as you say, the wideouts aren't exactly proven in the Chiefs' ranks right now. I'm going to kind of go with a similar theme, but with the opposite team, with the Ravens. Again, looking at the anytime touchdown market, and this really isn't left field, but it's week one. It's the first game in week one, and I kind of just want to hammer home a winner. I love Derrick Henry anytime touchdown. He's around 4 to 5, and he'll be my best bet actually for this game. Look, as I say, it's not left field. It's probably too safe, but at the same time, the Ravens have had just historically run all over the Chiefs, who have weaknesses in defense, on both sides, like through the air or on the ground. Even in that 17-10 loss last year, when Ravens only put up 10 points, they averaged 5.1 yards per carry, and they didn't really run the ball as much as they should have. The addition of Derrick Henry is just a huge boost for this offense. He's a machine, extremely hard to tackle. Once he gets into top flight as well, he can really fly. So I think Derrick Henry is super dangerous. He's going to get all the goal line carries, most of the red zone carries, as long as Lamar isn't used too much with his legs. And I think he's just going to have every chance to add a score in this game. So I'll take him 4 to 5, anytime touchdown. I think that's the best bet for me.
You mentioned rushing for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to twist things around again. I'm going to look at Lamar Jackson for my third bet of the three. I'm going to go Lamar Jackson overs on the rushing. Now, depending where you bet, you will get different lines, you get different prices as well. I know a few bookmakers are at 45.5, I think it is. I'm going to look at 50.5 though, and you get slightly better odds. You're about 10 to 11 for 50.5. The Chiefs defense were very, very good against the pass last year. Now, L'Jarius Sneed is not there anymore. He's now gone to Tennessee. So it's a different look to a Kansas City Chiefs defense. But Kansas also averaged 3 sacks per game. That rise to 3.4 sacks per game in home games. Lamar Jackson's going to have to run. He's going to have to scramble around. He's also lost a lot of weight from last year. He didn't need to. He's not like me. He's not in a case where he needs to go on a diet. But he lost 15 pounds from last year. To me, that tells me that he's going to be running a lot more. He's going to be used a lot more sort of in the open field. Not necessarily when it comes down to the goal line, as Tom says, with Derrick Henry there. But I think 50.5 is a good starting point. I think Lamar Jackson's in for a very big season from a fantasy perspective as well. If you were to rack up all three of my selections in a treble, it makes a 6-1 treble. I quite like that. So for me, Pacheco anytime touchdown, Pacheco over 61.5, and Lamar Jackson over 50.5. Tom, they're my three for game one. What are your two?
My two are the Baltimore Ravens plus 3.5 on the point spread, around 8 to 11, and Derrick Henry anytime touchdown 4 to 5. A couple of odds on shots for the first game of the season, but really looking forward to it, Luke. And anyone who's enjoyed this brief quickfire podcast, please just subscribe or at least come back to the channel later in the week as we head towards Sunday, because you cannot miss our proper week one preview. Lots of bets in there that you'll be wanting to play.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thursday night, the NFL season gets underway. You can catch our Sunday preview as well on our YouTube channel, along with our horse racing preview. But until we next get to see you, stay safe, look after another. Goodbye.